A storm is brewing in the Windy City, and the Chicago Bears are right in the thick of it. With the trade deadline fast approaching, the decisions made could change the team's trajectory forever. Rumors are flying, and there's a veteran defender who might be making a comeback, which could leave one player hanging by a thread. Could this mean a shocking exit for a key player? Stick around till the end to find out what strategic moves are in the works. But that's not all. Trade talks have been heating up, and one of Chicago's most promising running backs was on the radar of a divisional rival. However, the team's brass didn't see enough value in the deal. Can you imagine if that had gone down? The Bears are gearing up to decide their future, and the details are electrifying. Meanwhile, one of the cornerstones of the offensive line, a guard who's proven to be crucial for the ground game, is waiting for answers about a possible contract extension. Are the Bears ready to secure their future on the line? With impressive performances, the expectations are sky high. This is a high-stakes, high-reward situation you won't want to miss. So if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, make sure to subscribe to our channel and give us a like, because we're bringing you everything you need to know about the team's future. Don't go anywhere. The excitement is just getting started. Friends, let's talk about what really matters right now for the Chicago Bears. The bye week is over, and honestly, all eyes are on General Manager Ryan Poles. Will he dare to make a move before the November 5th trade deadline? Let me tell you this. The feeling is they might be ready to let go of some players and not necessarily to bring in big talents like they did last season. Now, let's discuss the rumors that are making waves in the locker room. I ask you, what do you think about the possibility of running back Khalil Herbert being on the trade block? I believe that a trade here could be a win-win for both sides. But that's not all. Defensive end Dominique Robinson is also mentioned as a possible candidate to leave. And, to be honest, I'm not surprised at all. Robinson, a former third-round pick, has been on the hot seat since the start of the season. Now I ask you, do you really think he's earned his spot on this team? He's been inactive for all games so far, which says a lot about his performance. Isn't it time for the team to question whether they really need a player who isn't on the field? The fact is, with the return of veteran Jacob Martin, who was on the reserve list due to a toe injury, things are getting even trickier for Robinson. Let me tell you this, Martin has impressed since his return. His work in training camp has been noteworthy, and his speed and agility are exactly what we need in the defensive rotation. Doesn't it make sense that with Martin back, Robinson gets pushed even further down the depth chart? Eric Washington, our defensive coordinator, has already said it. Jacob is a very athletic player and strong at the point of attack. We need that on our team. If Robinson can't even see the field at this point, I wonder, how much longer can he stay on the roster? I believe many teams in the league are looking to bolster their defensive line, and if any team is willing to offer a low-round pick, the Bears should seriously consider the trade. With Martin back in the picture, I ask you, should we really hold on to a player who isn't contributing and take the chance to acquire something in return? In conclusion, this situation with Dominique Robinson and Jacob Martin raises serious questions about the depth and direction of our defense. So Bears fans, now I ask you, what do you think the Bears should do with Robinson before the trade deadline? Should we risk it and keep him? Or is it time to let him go for the good of the team? Attention, Chicago Bears fans, let's get straight to the point. How about we talk about a rumor that's been circulating and frankly makes us question the team's decisions? Recently, it was revealed that the Bears were in trade talks with the Minnesota Vikings for Khalil Herbert. Now, let me tell you this. What is Ryan Poles thinking by rejecting that offer? In my opinion, it's a clear sign that the team doesn't see the value it should in its own talent. First, let's break down the context. Herbert is in the final year of his contract, and despite being a promising running back, he's had a pretty lackluster start to the season. He's only racked up 16 yards and 1 touchdown on 8 carries. Sure, the kid has potential, but with the competition in the locker room from D'Andre Swift and Roscoe Johnson, it's tough for him to carve out a significant role. Now I ask you, is it really smart to keep a player whose talents aren't being maximized, especially when he could be a free agent next year? The Vikings were interested in Herbert, but ultimately opted for Cam Akers. Now, I wonder, is that a sign that Minnesota doesn't have as much faith in their choice? Or maybe the Bears just weren't willing to part with a talent that could be a huge asset for another franchise. That's the question we need to consider here. Don't get me wrong. I think Herbert has value. Since being drafted in the 6th round of 2021, he's shown he can be an effective running back with 1,791 yards and 9 touchdowns in his career. But the truth is, if he's not getting it done on the field, is it worth holding on to him? And let's be real. The risk of losing him for nothing in free agency is very real. Sure, he could be insurance in case Swift or Johnson gets hurt, but they could also choose not to extend him. The pressure is on Poles, and the trade window is closing fast. With the deadline next week, it's clear that any move could shift the team's dynamics. Now, the real challenge is figuring out if the Bears will make the right decision. Should they hold on to Herbert and risk losing him for nothing? Or should Poles seize the opportunity and get something in return before he becomes a free agent? And this is where you come in, folks. What do you think? Should Chicago let Khalil Herbert go or trust that he can make a significant contribution this season? Let's get straight to the point. Today, we're talking about one of the hottest topics facing the Chicago Bears right now, the contract situation of Tevin Jenkins. And let me tell you, this isn't just a numbers game. It's a matter of strategy, future, and the health of our offensive line. First, let me remind you of what's been going on. Since summer, there have been rumors about a potential contract extension for Tevin Jenkins. The 26-year-old, a cornerstone of our offensive line, has been left waiting. Why? Because he was told to hold off until after the bye week. Well, that week is almost over, and now I ask you, what's next? Jenkins has shown remarkable improvement in recent weeks. It's no coincidence that his performance aligns with the rest of the offensive line getting better. According to Pro Football Focus, he ranks 19th among the top guards in the league. That's impressive, but does he really deserve an extension from the Bears? Now let's talk about injuries. Jenkins has had his setbacks, missing Week 4 with some rib injuries and Week 5 with an ankle sprain. But listen to this. He started every game this season. This not only shows his determination, but also how he's worked with our medical team to stay on the field despite the limitations. Doesn't that speak volumes about this guy's commitment? Look, if you've followed my journey as an analyst, you know I don't like to skim the surface. The reality is, we don't have a definitive answer about the status of extension talks. But we must recognize that we've already passed the halfway point of the season, and Jenkins has played solidly while being healthier than not. Now, what would a reasonable extension look like? It could be in the ballpark of the contract James Daniels signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a 3-year deal worth $26.5 million, or perhaps the contract of John Runyon Jr. with the Giants, which was a 3-year deal for $30 million. Both options offer a path that could be beneficial for both sides. But here's the kicker. If the Bears truly believe in continuity and in Jenkins' importance to the offensive line's performance, they need to act. Otherwise, we might have to look at draft prospects for 2025 or even alternatives in free agency. Are we willing to let go of a player like Tevin Jenkins? I don't think so. So Bears Nation, here's my question for you. What do you think the team should do regarding Tevin Jenkins? Should they extend his contract, or is it time to look towards the future with other players? Today we've tackled some critical decisions facing our team. First off, I want to know, what do you think the Bears should do with Robinson before the trade deadline? Should we risk keeping him, or is it time to let him go for the good of the team? Leave your comments below, and let's make this conversation huge. Now the real challenge lies in figuring out if the Bears will make the right decision with Khalil Herbert. Should they keep him and risk losing him for nothing, or should Poles seize the opportunity and get something in return before he becomes a free agent? I'm eager to hear your thoughts, friends. What do you think? Should Chicago let Khalil Herbert go, or trust that he can make a significant contribution this season? Finally, we come to Tevin Jenkins. What do you think the team should do regarding him? Should they extend his contract, or is it time to look toward the future with other players? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and remember, the conversation is just getting started. So, Bears Nation, I invite you to be an active part of this community. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news and analysis, and join our family of fans who share the same passion. Let's make our voices heard. And as always, let's go Bears!